Is the dream of living in Florida starting to crumble? More people than ever have actually left the state of Florida this past year. So the Florida Chamber of Commerce just came out with some numbers. So we did see the highest inflow of residents in the entire United States with an inflow of 637,000 people. But we did see 511,000 people actually leave the state of Florida, which is the largest that we've seen on.
Hello friends, welcome back to another video. This video you have to hear if you ever want to consider moving to Florida, because honestly everybody is leaving, including myself and my family, because when I moved to a little town in Florida, a 2-bedroom was $835, and this little town used to know as ghost town, but now a 2-bedroom is upwards in the 3,500. You'll be lucky to find anything available. So guys, if you ever thinking about moving to Florida, consider those, because if it's really worth it for you and your family, because one person cannot afford to live here anymore. So guys, watch the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Record, and actually puts us number 2 right behind California. So some quick math, that leaves us at a net migration of 126,000 people, so we are still in the positive. But why are so many people leaving? Now, I don't think it's just one thing, but I do think it's a combination of some different things, with the two main things being that of the higher housing costs as well as the higher insurance costs. And the big one has to be the insurance. Let's be real. Whether you live along the coast in South Florida, Southwest Florida, Tampa, Jacksonville, the cost of insurance is freaking high. And we are working through it to hopefully get some lower insurance premiums here, but some people are like, screw it, I don't want to pay $8,000 to maybe even $20,000 a year for just insurance. And on the flip side of things, home prices are also up. They're up 41% since 2019. But what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for us here in Florida, or is this just normal with people who wanted to come and live here while they were working remote, and then they realized, hey, it might be just too hot for me?
Here are a few reasons why we decided to leave Florida. And if you're thinking about moving there, you're going to want to watch this video. And part 2 and part 3. Number 1 though is cost of living. So a little story time. We got an apartment in Tampa. It was like in a suburb of Tampa. So it was still about 35 minutes to 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour, from things that we really wanted to do, like the beach or even just see our friends. But this place, rent was manageable. It was okay. We had a 2-2. It was fine. Ultimately, we go to renew our lease because we really like our apartment and we have no reason to leave. We loved our dog park and everything that it offered, but we got a letter saying that they were raising our rent by $700. So we had to all of a sudden figure out how to move out of this apartment that we loved to a new apartment in Tampa. And let me tell you, that 60 days was excruciating. We couldn't find anything. Average price for a 1-1 in Tampa was going about $19.50, and a 2-2 anywhere from $2,300, $2,500, $2,600. It just went up from there. We did end up finding another apartment in Tampa. It was a 1-1, so we went from a 2-2 to a 1-1, but with a price difference of $200, $300, somewhere in there, depending on the month, because fees. To be honest, I didn't even like the apartment. But I will tell you, if you are somebody who's looking to move to Florida, just know that cost of living is absolutely insane there. Not only is cost of living as far as like an apartment or things like that, but if you're like trying to start a family or buy a house or anything like that, Florida is just so hard to do that right now. So it's just important to note. And to find an apartment, there are apartments popping up everywhere, but they are so expensive. And don't get me started on groceries or outings or gas, just cost of living.
3 reasons why I moved from Florida to North Carolina. So I get asked all the time, why would you move from Florida to North Carolina? It must be the politics, right? And my immediate response to that is, no, it's actually one reason why I would stay in Florida. But the fact is, so much has changed in Florida since COVID. Number 1, the cost of living. Insurances are through the roof and taxes are through the roof. My car insurance here in North Carolina is half of what it was in Florida. My homeowner's insurance is half of what it was in Florida. And my property taxes are half of what they were in Florida for a home that cost twice as much. Now, it's true, Florida does not have state income tax and North Carolina does. However, whenever you consider all the factors that I just described, it's still cheaper to live in North Carolina. Number 2, seasons. It's true, Florida is divine in the winter. But let me tell you, it's hellacious in the summer. The summers here in North Carolina, however, quite mild, but in the winters, they're not extreme. In fact, it hasn't snowed in like 2 or 3 years. And number 3, the people. The people here in the South are unlike any other you will ever meet. Everyone is so kind and so helpful that it makes it all worth it. So if you've been considering a move to Florida or out of Florida, take the 3 reasons that I just gave you into serious consideration, because I think you'll find it's well worth it.
I am seeing more and more people leave Florida because of the crazy taxes that they have down there. Regardless of not having state income tax, it's more expensive to live because the property taxes are outrageous. The insurance for vehicles is outrageous. The insurance for homes is outrageous because of the hurricanes. So people are deucing out. They are getting out of Florida and heading north, like you, Vermont. So I hear you, man. I'm hearing more of that story every day.
I have been asked why we moved out of Florida a few times recently, so I figured I would just make a video about it. The reality is I didn't like Florida. We moved to Florida when I was in elementary school and I grew up in Florida, but I never wanted to stay in Florida. I always wanted to move away. That was always part of the plan. There are many, many things that I did not like about Florida, and there were things that I did like about Florida. But more than there being a lot of things that I didn't like, there were just things that I really want in a home, in a place to live that Florida can't offer you. Things like different weather and seasons and being closer to the mountains and opportunities for hiking and things like that. The other thing is the cost of living where I am now is exponentially less than the cost of living where I was in Florida. So there were things that I didn't like about Florida that pushed me to move, but also things that I was looking for that kind of encouraged me to move. But again, I never wanted to stay in Florida. I moved to Florida because my family moved there, but my plan for as long as I can remember was always to move away. In fact, when I first started dating my now fiance in 2013, one of the first questions I asked him was if he wanted to stay in Florida for the rest of his life, because if he was really dead set on that, it probably would not work out.
People are fucking leaving. Like, we're all leaving. Rachel and I are leaving. Like, we can't fucking...
Please watch his entire video. It shows you just the frustration of so many people in Florida, and how so many people in Florida, it's not reported in the news, it's not really talked about, but there are thousands and thousands of people preparing and getting ready to leave because Florida has just gotten ridiculously expensive, and it's number 1. Yeah, Florida's number 1 in inflation in the country. That's right. Florida is number 1 in inflation. So here's a guy explaining how much it used to just cost to rent a small place, and it's more than doubled. And going to the grocery store is ridiculous. But just living all around Florida when you're number 1 in inflation, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And I have so many friends that live down in Florida, and many of them are just like, it's just too much. It's just gotten to be too much. We've had enough. We're moving out. So expect over the next couple of years a huge migration out of Florida. Yeah, you may still get some of the rich folk going down there, but the average Joe, no, the average Joe's leaving. Like and follow for more, and tell me what you think.